what's up guys? How's it going? Today I'm going to draw Rhino from Spider-Man because Rhino's kind of been in the news a lot since he's going to be in that next Amazing Spider-Man movie, and people are kind of complaining about what he looks like. Kind of including myself. I'm not going to pretend, but yeah, I wanted to kind of go over and draw the comic book version of Rhino just for my own amusement, and kind of helps me relax really in the morning. I just got up. Before anything else, also I want to talk about the armadillo. Armadillo's this is it right here. It's a pencil case we've been selling. It was sold on Kickstarter a year ago, and we've been selling them pretty steadily ever since. So just that's kind of a paid sponsorship thing. The armadillo is on sale for the month of December. It's going to be buy one get one free for the medium, and just letting you know, go to armadillo.com. That's the sponsorship part of it. So it's basically a pencil case you strap to your wrist, and you can kind of strap to your sketchbook. And I'll demonstrate it on another video. I just don't want to spend too much time on sponsorship kind of stuff, you know? Alright. So, I'm using a regular number 2 pencil. Let me think of a pose, actually, first. I've seen him do this cool pose on the internet before. Let's see. I'm gonna start with a torso, since a lot of him is his upper body is like a big chunk of him. He's this muscle dude, you know. He's essentially like, it reminds me of guys like the Hulk and the Max and the Pit and all that. It's just big muscly dudes. So I'm gonna draw his kind of giant square torso first as a box. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can kind of see that. Or it'll get darker. I'm kind of throwing an angle out here for the top of the shoulder, top of the other shoulder. I want that to connect down here, and I'm gonna put a ball there for the joint, for the elbow joint, where I kind of want it when I'm kind of doing this epic pose. Drawing his waist and torso. So I want this to be kind of the below, right here, this box, I want it to represent below his pectoralis, his pec, chest. And I want this to go down into his stomach here. Drawing the legs, kind of coming out like he's ready to fight or something. I'm going to draw only his kind of upper, maybe 75% of his upper torso. I'm not going to draw the bottom legs. Yeah. Move in there. So his arms are coming back here, and they're coming out to the side. I'm gonna draw. I usually draw either a square or circle to represent his fist. It's kind of balled up fist. So the way I'm drawing him is, I'm kind of thinking, if I think of his arm as a tube, let's say there's a tube, a cylinder. It's going back, and then it's coming out forward. There's another one. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But the way I want his arm drawn is, imagine the pencil's his arm. Maybe it's the humerus and the bone, you know. From this pose, I want it kind of going this way. I want it like his upper shoulder here, and his elbow over here. But then from his elbow, I want his, I want his elbow moving forward into the hand, so the hand is closer to you. I hope that kind of made sense. Sorry, it's early. And I'm gonna draw the head here. Don't draw the head too big. If anything, draw the head smaller than normal, because if you drawing a smaller head makes the character look bigger. Makes his shoulders look bigger, makes his chest look bigger. If you draw it too big, it's just gonna look like whatever. If you draw it smaller, he'll look more massive, Alright. He's got the rhino horn. That's like his most pretty much identifiable feature. He's got that rhino horn on the front. His face is pretty much up for grabs, in terms of what we're gonna do there. Let's see. Alright, so that's kind of a good little basis to start with. Now we're going to kind of get into features more. So I'm going to go into his face first, because I feel that's a comfortable area to go into. And, alright, let's go for it. Well, let's see if you can see in there. I'm going to get in real tight to his face. And I'm actually going to represent it with shadows. I'm not going to draw every detail the way I normally would, because I feel for this video, I just feel it's a good idea for this video. Let's see. Alright. I'm getting on the eye there, the eye shape, the eye socket really. Looking at that horn. Horn's gonna be aimed at us, so a little bit turned to the right. The horn is gonna be, it's gonna get light from both sides really. So I'm gonna draw one kind of shadow stream down. I'm gonna draw a couple. I'm gonna draw shape for his nose. Most iterations I've seen of him, whether it be in cartoon or in comics, his nose is always kind of small. Again, I think he's kind of got that goon face kind of thing. I forgot his story, to be honest. If anybody can remember his story, let me know. I know I can just Google it, but I'm not, kind of privy to doing that right now because I'm drawing. Was he a goon or something like that? Was he a hired goon? I forgot what he was. I know he was really cool in the cartoon, which is kind of what I grew up with. I grew up with a '90s cartoon, and he came out all the time. He's essentially wearing a costume, wearing a Rhino costume, but he also just happens to be, friggin', tank-like, kind of that juggernaut feel. I'm a big fan of all those characters, those big lumbering characters. Except the Blob. I'm not a big fan of the Blob. I just think he's weird. I don't know, he's not cool. I mean, he's cool, but I'm not a big fan of his. You can see I'm giving him, his head's getting a little too big for my taste, but I'm gonna have to deal with it, honestly. I'll see what I can do with the shoulders here. Like I said, it's doing that, I want him to feel a little bit more massive, so I should have made his head a little smaller, but I'm using a number 2 pencil here, and I just came out that way. Not that that matters, I'm just making excuses, So is jackhammering outside my door. My window, I mean. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I apologize. I'm very sorry about that. Can't really do anything about it, though. I'm really sorry. Oh man, that noise. Anyways, forget about it. Sometimes he has these little ears too. I've seen out the corner of his. I'm gonna put those for the heck of it. Because rhinos do have ears. I'm actually gonna make the center line of his body a little bit to the left of him. Makes a little bit, just a slightly bit. Makes it look a little more dynamic instead of just straight up front. Draw his shoulders a little bigger than I anticipated. Okay then, the jackhammering stopped. Drawing the center line down all the way. Kind of lining out the pectoralis here. The clavicle kind of comes from, it goes to the top of the shoulder there. Kind of mapping that out beforehand. Looks so much like a bulldog in the face, but I don't really mind it. Sometimes he does look like that. Around here to the deltoid. Even bigger back. Alrighty, I have to go get a UPS package, so I'm back. Draw his other fist. Maybe I want to make this one a little bit different. Maybe one will be a fist. Well, yeah, I kind of want it to be a fist too. You have to make sure they're consistent from one side to the other too. Realistically, everything under his pec is going to be in shadow. Well, most of it. His pec's going to cover up a lot of stuff. I mean, it's not like the Rhino's naked down there. He wears a lot of, he wears clothing. He wears that kind of skin-tight suit thing, but Shadow just, it looks like it's doing that. Shadow's covering that area up. You can go in there and put some kind of darker tones. Down to the leg, to the knee. Alright. Going to the other hand. And this is about the time where I get lazy, you know? You're kind of like, oh man, that's going to be like... I have to make this thing symmetrical, you know? It's not really that big of a deal. I'm just going to indicate kind of the fingers here. Well, I might as well just draw them, I guess. I was just going to indicate them because I was lazy, but I'll do it. Alrighty. Let's see. I got a lot of it laid out. I mean, you know, it's more than laid out. Now I just look at it, and I'm probably going to go back and kind of refine parts I need to refine. Let me see. Definitely that hand is weird, and the right side of his body over here. Well, actually, his left side, but our right. Some of the stuff looks kind of funky. And unfortunately, my time is up. I said I was going to fix it, but you get the idea. I'm just going to clean this up. Anyways, unfortunately, my time's up on my camera, but space is gone. So for the most part, the Rhino was essentially this kind of buff dude, you know, and I guess they changed him to a robot in the movie. I mean, I don't like that as much as everyone else does, but unless they made him like the Hulk in the movie, I guess that's kind of the only way, the route they could do. He was really a gangster, I think, right? So, I think he was. Anyways, comment below. Please give me info on the Rhino, actually, that I might not, that I guess I can just Google it, but it'd be nice to kind of hear it from somebody who knows the comics, you know, knows what they're talking about. And I'm drawing more line on the outside. I'm using a lot more line on this drawing than I normally do. I use number 2 pencil. And that's about it. This is my morning kind of warm-up drawing that, you know, essentially I recorded. I gotta fix that hand. That hand I do not. Let me go down to this foot. That hand I do not like. But anyways, guys, I'll see you next time. And please leave some feedback. See you guys.